happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. It's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way. So thanks you guys for joining me here tonight. I'm a little bit late. Got the computer figured out now, I think. It's been acting crazy, but we made it. So thank you for joining me here. Tonight we are going to continue cutting all of the little extra pieces for my Splendid Sampler 2 quilt. And by that I mean the backing, the batting, and all the sashing and cornerstone pieces. So we have our little chart from last night, looking crazy, and we are gonna start cutting a little bit more. So I'm gonna flip you around. We're getting a little late start, so let's just get going right away here. Okay, so I'm glad I made it here tonight because I want to finish cutting all these strips. So I thought I had a bolt of white fabric, but what I actually have are several, I think these might be 1 yard cuts. So I'm not sure. I had this in my stash and oh, that looks like a bolt right there. So I bet you these are all 1 yard cuts. Okay, so that's good. Oh, they're not even 1 yard. So they're about 25 inches. What an odd thing. I don't know why I would have cut such an odd shape at some point, but I have several cuts of these. So, all right. Well, fine. We'll just cut here. At least I have like a bolt. I'm not going to bother ironing it, even though I suppose that would make everything a little bit nicer. Should I iron this? I think we're going to just leave it as is. I'm going to just let it be whatever it's going to be. All right, and it even looks like I have a, well, I suppose I'll at least cut a nice new straight edge. So I'm going to cut a straight edge here. So I did do some math. Actually, let's do that now. I have my calculator here with me here. I'll turn on the iron too. Maybe it'll heat up by the time I do this math here. So let's get my calculator up. Okay, so I want to find out, we need 109 more of these white strips, but I want to see how many I can get here. So they're 6.5 inches wide. So if these are 42, if my fabric's 42 inches divided by 6.5 inches, okay, so I can get 6 full 6.5 inch pieces out of 1 strip. That's the whole way. So 6. So how many strips do I need to make 109? Let's see. 109 divided by 6. Okay, I'm going to have to cut at least 19 pieces. So I'm going to just jot that down. 19 strips. And then we'll have a couple extra. So that'll give us our 6.5 by 1. So let's start there. Whenever I should be able to get 19 out of here. But yeah, let's just give it a quick iron, I suppose. Quick iron. I'm not going to actually open it up though. I'm going to just leave it flat here. I'll start at the fold. Just because we are cutting 1-inch strips, and that's a pretty small size, the 1 inch. So any little wiggle with the fold might mess that up. So let's get this a hair flatter. But I'm going to be able to get all of my pieces out of this one thing of fabric here, so that's exciting. So I won't have to break open those other white pieces, so that's good. This will be enough, I think. And actually, since we can get 6, that's 3 and 3 on each side, so we can probably just cut away this fold. Okay, there. We're a little better off here now. Okay, so let's cut our little edge here, and then I'm going to just use the rule. I'm just going to use the mat, the measurements on the mat, to cut 19 1-inch strips. So there we go. Let's get the big old ruler out. I'm going to get you guys up a little bit higher here. And get the glove on tonight too. All right. Oh, more cutting. It's always so scary. All right. You know, it'll be good that we have a few extra, you know, because I'm cutting 19 strips and we just need a hair over 18 strips. So we'll probably have like 5 extra or so. That'll be good because some of our blocks that are a little, I should be talking and cutting, huh? Some of the blocks that are a little small, we can take these extra scraps, these extra pieces, and use them to add to the white if we need to, or add to the edge of any of these. That'll be good. Maybe I'll even cut 1 extra because of that. So one thing that I didn't think about when I was calculating all this yesterday with you guys is that I have no idea if I'm going to have some of these around the outside of the quilt. Like if I want any strips or cornerstones around the outside of the quilt when I'm done, or if I want to add any borders to the quilt. But if I add borders, then I'm going to have to do all those separately and quilt as you go as well. So I think, I'm just talking out loud now, so I think I might actually just not have any borders at all. Just let this be whatever size it's going to be with the blocks and just put a sashing or a binding around the whole thing and be done with it. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I don't really need, with the first Splendid Sampler, I made a queen size quilt so I could use it on my bed, which is where it is right now. But this quilt, I don't really have any real purpose for it. So if it's an awkward size, like just a really big lap quilt, that it'll probably get used the most as a really big lap quilt. So I think for the sake of finishing, I'll just do the blocks, do the quilt as you go for the blocks, and throw a binding on it. Want those edges to stay lined up. It's going to feel good to have this stack of strips ready to go, though. A lot of little preliminary work here, but, you know, we're finally getting it done. I know this is sort of usually the stuff that you prep when you start a quilt, like you cut up all your fabric and then, you know, lay out all your blocks and then just sew them all at once. But, you know, in my case, we just started. Sometimes I just like to start, and then we get to the point where we are now where it's like, okay, now let's finish cutting everything. Let's finish doing it all. Let's finish the prep. All right. Oh, you know what? This only goes 17 inches. Oh, so I was cutting like a half a yard here. I was thinking that my cutting board was like 24 inches, but it's not. It's only 17 inches. So I must have been cutting half yard cuts here, not yard cuts. That makes more sense. Like, why was I cutting such like 24 inches? That's not anything. All right, so we will need another piece of this, unfortunately.
So I think I'll just have to cut like one strip off, or maybe 2 strips, depending if, we have a good enough edge here, of the next, of one more piece of white. Oh. Dang, so we didn't quite make it. Oh well. So we need just over a yard of fabric to finish this up. So my guess is that for the whole quilt, a full yard of fabric would be plenty for all this sashing. Ugh, this is a lot of fabric, isn't it? A lot of little strips. Oh, cool, Domino! I'm excited to see your sewing machine. All right, once I get a little too close to the edge, like where my ruler's not on the board anymore, I'm going to move all these and scooch this fabric down a little bit more. Oh, still attached up there. This blade still needs to be changed. I think there's a little nick out of it. I'm going to do one more and then we'll move this. I actually think I might cross-cut these guys first. Okay, so I'm just going to, well, I suppose we can stack these a little bit. It looks like they came all kind of undone, so I'm going to need to readjust them anyway. So let's just kind of get them out of our way, and we'll scooch this guy over. Okay, I think we're good there. So I'll just get 18 out of here, I think. Okay, there we are. And we need that one extra cut, so I think I will press that little piece too, I suppose, and get that one final cut out of a different piece of fabric here. I'm going to barely any edge left on this. It's just this whole thing. I must have cut this a hair over 18 inches, so it's a hair over half a yard. All right, 2 more out of here, hopefully. Kind of feel like there's got to be a better way to do this. This is just feels so stressful and awkward, like cutting out all these pieces. There must be some fancy way to cut a pile of strips. Actually, you know what? I'm going to rotate this around to trim that extra little bit off of it. There we are. Now I'll get that to be 1 inch. Then I have more surface area on the what I'm cutting here on the strip. Yeah, fingers are close. So I'm thinking cutting these little strips is something that you do a lot in quilting. Someone must have thought of some contraption or a device to make it easier. I don't know. Okay, you guys, let's rotate this, and I'm going to start cutting my 6.5-inch strips. So I think how I'm going to do that, I'm going to get you guys down a little lower again. I'm going to stack several rows of these, and then I'm going to use the ruler lines on the mat to cut them. So, all right, let's start. Let's go all the way to the edge here. So I might need to kind of shimmy these a little bit so they line up. All right, so I'm going to do a couple layers. This will take a little bit of finagling, but it'll save on the cutting, I think. Oh, AccuQuilt does strips? Oh, okay. So like an AccuQuilt cutter can do strips. That's how people do it. Ooh, I'm going to have to look up some of these things that you guys are saying. Jackie, I'm with you. My least favorite part of quilting is the cutting, and that's probably why I didn't do it right away. Ugh, I messed this one up. Why I didn't calculate how many strips I needed right away and cut them all right away. We're doing it now. I'm just trying to get them over this little edge here because we'll trim off all the folds of the fabric. And then we will cut at 6.5-inch points. But there's so many of these and they're kind of unruly. This one has a big fold in it. So I'm glad we pressed a little bit, but this guy needed a little extra pressing, it looks like. All right, we'll do one more segment like this, and I think we'll trim. Let's get these rows together. All right, grab this one at the top so I can see the top of my mat. I'm just kitty scratching these rows so they lay on top of each other better. Okay, let's cut this batch. All right, I think we're good. Gonna get the glove back on. So now I should be able to cut 3 segments out of here that are 6.5 inches. So I'm gonna first trim off the little folds here. Okay, whew, that was painless enough. Get all my scruffies out of the way. All right, and 6.5 inches. I'm going to count just because I'm paranoid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. All right, so cutting right here. All right, and I'm going to just, oops, lost my glove. I'm going to stack these right away. Okay. We can just stack them right on the these other ones. I'll layer them later. Okay, then another 6.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got that half already. Good. You know what? I should have cut the other side off first, because then at the end I would have had a folded out end that would have given us a little extra scrappy fabric. I suppose it doesn't matter. Okay. And I'm going to do the last cut here, another 6.5. 5, 6.5. Yeah, we wouldn't have quite have had an extra strip, but it would have been close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Okay. Batch number 1. Let's get another several stacks out here, and then we still have to do that one extra cut, but this is kind of nice getting this all out of the way. All right, here's our little extras. Pile little extras here. Okay, now let's layer all these strips again. Moved around a little bit. Yeah, I can see why I avoid this part. I'm gonna have to check out some of those suggestions that you guys have, though. Oh yeah, like the stripology thing. I feel like I've heard of that too. I think my mom, now that I think of it, has a ruler that cuts strips really easily. I don't know about a whole width of the fabric, or you know, the folded bolt like this. I can piece. Oh, that's true. I can make 2 pieces together to make 6.5. We'll leave it. Actually, I don't think that was enough for 6.5. We didn't quite get there. I don't think. I think we got like 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5.5. So it wasn't quite enough for an extra strip. What did I put? 3 here? No, just 2. Okay. Oh gosh, that one I really mangled. Right, then we have 1 more, and then I gotta get that 1 extra strip from another piece of fabric. Ah, we're getting there though. This is almost done. All these little white bits are almost done. Just gotta tell myself that. All right, that's it. Let's trim these. Oops, I'm moving them. I moved a whole pile of them. Let's shift these again. Shift these. Arg. All right, it'll just be what they're gonna be. Start with. Oops. Hold on. Get my glove on. Oh, shoot. All right, let's do the 6.5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. some up. Six and a half. And last up, one more over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. Okay. Awesome, you guys. So we have almost all of our stacks right here. So this here's what we already had done from earlier. Although they're kind of a mess, aren't they, from when we counted them all. Oh well. And then we need that one more strip, and then we have all of them that we need. But I'm going to throw that up on the top. Let's grab the little scrap nubbins. Okay, rotate our mat again, and I have another one of those half yards of fabric. So let's get up top here, and I'm going to have to press this again. But we just need that one strip out of here. There we go. So I'm just going to press like one of these edges a little bit. One more strip. Everything worked out so nice yesterday that we had just enough fabric and just at the right amount of time and all that, but today I have this one little extra bit hanging out here. So all right, one strip, and that's it. So I'm going to cut my nice edge, and then we will do our 1-inch strip, and then cross cut it to get our 6 strips. I think we'll have 5 or so extra, but like I said earlier, I think we'll probably use them. Actually, maybe I'll cut 2 strips right away. Then we'll have like 10 or so extras in case we need to use them to make some other blocks bigger or something. So we'll have a few just laying around, and we can feel free to use them however. Gosh, this makes me think I should do like 3 right away, just in case we need them. Might as well, since I have the fabric here. Hoping we don't need it that often, but if we do, they'll be available. Yeah, let's do 3. Actually, I think I'm going to do 4. Just paranoid I don't want to do this cutting again. And if I do 4, then I can stack 2 sets of 2 on top of each other to cut here, which will be easy. 1 extra. All right, whole pile of extras here. So I'm gonna fold up this fabric. Don't need any bulky white fabric anymore. That's nice. We'll use this in the quilt somewhere instead. And now let's rotate this again, and we'll get these last cuts out of here. So same deal. Yep, these are all for the front. These are all our sashing pieces, and that's it. And then plus, I've been talking about extras. Extras are in case our block ends up being too small for some reason. We can give it a teeny little border to it of white that you hopefully won't notice. And that's what these extra strips are for. Okay, cut off those edges. Our first 6.5. 3, 6.5. I'll stack them all after. Second 6.5. And last 6.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that is it for the strips. Yay. Done. Okay, so there's one other thing I'd like to get done tonight. So we have all these strips done. Whew, big check mark there. So we still need our 18 batting squares. And then we also need to cut 50 1-inch squares for the cornerstone. So I thought we could do that really quick. So here are my different fabrics that we could use as cornerstones. These are like all the bright fabrics. And I think we've used some already, so I thought we'd pick a few different ones. So it looks like we have not used this fabric. That would be fun. This one we have, I don't know about a solid. Maybe we just do those two. I was thinking maybe we could do 5 different ones and then cut 10 out. So I suppose we can. Let's just keep cutting some of the same ones. So we'll do that one. And let's add the solids. Why not? There. All right. We will go like that. So let's try and get a 10-inch strip out of all of these, and then we'll cross-cut them to 50. So let's see if we can get away without ironing these. Probably not, huh? All right, yeah, like how long is this strip? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, that's just right. Okay, perfect. So we just really need one strip. We'll just do a quick little ironing. Way around the edge here. Okay, next up. All right, we got a whole edge here. Ooh, this is so pretty, this fabric. Maybe I'll save that. Maybe I'll stick to the non. Ugh, these are all awkward. I forgot about that. So this is only like 8 or so inches. We're gonna just layer a pile of these, and I'm just gonna cut 2 of each, and that should give us plenty. So I'm not even gonna worry about counting, as long as I know I'm at least, well, let's count. So this will be about 8 inches, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, this will be 8. So if we cut 2 of these, it's 16, and 2 of these is 20. So we're at 36. How much is this? Oh gosh, this is even shorter. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. So that's another 14. So what did we say? So if I do 2 of these, that would be 28. Oh gosh. No math tonight. We're doing it all on a calculator. So the first one was, this one will be 14 is 28. The 8 inches one, oh wait, no. There's 7, so there would be 14. Sorry about that. And the next one would be 16 if I cut 2 strips, and the last one would be 20 if I cut 2 strips. Oh, well that gives us exactly 50. Okay, there we go. We're gonna just cut 2 strips of each of these, and we are gonna be at the 50 that we need. With no extra, so perfect, Lucy, thanks. So we're gonna have exactly the amount that we need without having to dink around here too much. So, all right, I'm gonna just leave that cutter there. Trim off all this excess. Oop, get that glove on. All right. 2 strips of each. All right. And these all have nice clean edges right away. Okay, that is all we need for all of our cornerstones. So let's rotate these and just trim them up. Maybe we can leave them stacked. Just make sure that I got all the edge hanging over. Do one there. And one here. So this should be okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I was a little worried about that one, but we're fine. All right, trimming. And then we'll just mix all these up. So, I'll randomly pick ultimately when I put my quilt together. Randomly pick the cornerstones. Tiny little squares, but I suppose they're not much different than all the tiny little squares that we've been making for the Splendid Sampler. All these itty bitties. All right, last one of the blue. So this is the stressful week, the week of just cutting all these guys and cutting the batting and all that. But it's going to feel good to have done, that's for sure. All right, these 2 little blue pieces are scraps. They weren't quite big enough. Same with these orange pieces. And cut these little guys off here. There we go. There are our 50. All right, and then we'll mix them up with these guys, and we will have our batch of 50 cornerstones here. So I'll probably just throw these in a little bowl or something, or I'll just plop them up on top of each other like this again. Good, so they're stirred up just a hair. Cornerstones done. So right now, you guys, we have all of our fabric completely cut. So these are for the back panels, the back squares. This is for the vertical sashing as we make the rows. This is that large sashing that we'll sew together, or that large kind of binding strip on the back. And then we have all of our white strips here and all of our little cornerstones. So this is our whole quilt right here, except for like all the blocks that we're making. So awesome. That feels so good. Now I'm not going to have bolts of fabric laying around here anymore, and I'm not going to have to worry about if I have enough white left over or enough orange left over. Awesome. So the one thing we're going to do yet tomorrow is the batting. So I need to cut, let's mark this off, I need to cut those 18 batting squares, but this is done too. So we're almost there. Oh yes, all the tedious cutting done. Exactly, Barbara. All right, you guys, I'm going to flip you around. Okay, we made it through all that cutting. Ugh. I know that's some people's favorite. Some people just, I don't know, put some podcasts on and just cut, but I don't know, there's too much danger involved with that rotary cutter, and I just get nervous about slipping and not have, and then there's the math to figure out if we're getting it all. All the icky things. But I feel good now. It's nice to have it all done. So awesome. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. Thanks for popping in again tonight. I know we were a little bit late, but I'm glad we got it working. So tomorrow it's batting, and we have all sorts of different batting that I'm going to try and use up. So we'll see how that goes. And I might cut a few extra because I know we've been doubling it up for fun, just to play with what different styles of batting and different layers of batting look like. So we may cut a few extra now that I think about it. So awesome. We'll do that tomorrow, and then all that can go away too, those bulky items. It's going to be so clean in here without all that laying around. But awesome. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you tomorrow night. Good night.